Hello, everybody. Congratulations with the 30th anniversary of the Association of Latvian Organic Agriculture. And what a great idea to celebrate it with a congress about the good examples from the Baltic. And thank you for having me here to speak some words to you. I'm Marian Blom, and I'm the Vice President of IFOAM Europe. And IFOAM Europe is the representative of the organic movement in Brussels. I'm sitting here in the office with behind me a picture of, maybe you can see it. Oh, look at my finger. Calimero. And I'm quite sure in Latvia you also know Calimero. And the organic sector is often compared with Calimero, the little black duck who always complained when things got too difficult. I am small and you are big, and that's not fair. Well, that's a situation that maybe existed 25 years ago in Europe, but in the meantime, a lot of things have changed. If I look at the area in around the year 2000 in the EU, we had 3.7 million hectares of certified organic farming in Europe. Now in 2012, the last figure I have is from 2023, there is 17.7 million hectares certified organic land area in the EU. 300,000 of these are in Latvia, which is quite a surface. And actually in Latvia, you're doing better than the European average. If you look at the number of farmers, we're also out of the niche. We are not small anymore. We used to have 132,000 farmers around 2000. Now we are at 435,000 farmers. And 400 of them can be found in Latvia. And if you look at the retail, in the year 2000, we had organic retail was worth about 5.5 billion euros. And now we are close to 15 billion euros. And of these, 51 million euros is organic retail sales in Latvia. So what we see over the past 25 years is a very steady growth of organic. And even in the pandemic years, if you correct for those 2 years, you can still see that steady growth. Because in the first years of the pandemic, we had a double-digit increase and then a drop again. But if you look at the long-term line, you can see the growth is continuing. What we do see is that the high growth countries, like Germany, that has a high percentage of the organic market, keeps on doing well, whereas the slow growth companies, like the Netherlands, where I am based, where 4% of the organic retail is organic, we can use a push to stimulate organic further. So that's something from the development of the market and the area. And if I look back, I can also see a development in the regulation. Not in terms from small to big, but in another way. Maybe you know that the first European regulation on organic farming was set up or started in 1991. Before that, there were only private rules or country rules. And in 1991, the organic regulation was about creating a single market, but only for plant production rules. And in the years afterwards, more and more sectors got added. So you see a general broadening of rules, production rules for organic operators. At the same time, there is also a deepening of the rules. I call it deepening because less and less exceptions are allowed. So where several years ago you could still feed 20% non-organic food to ruminants, now it has decreased to 0. And that's because also the market has developed and there is more products available. So less reason for exceptions. And a third aspect of the development in the regulation is the harmonization, which in practice means that more and more detailed rules are set on the European level, and less is left to the member states to implement. And this development has threats and opportunities. When I look at the threats for this development, it's that it's becoming more complicated and more administrative burden to follow all these details rules for organic. And in a way, it's becoming more set, more fixed. The opportunity is, of course, that it's clear for more and more products what is organic, and it's easier to trade them. So for the market, in a way, it's an advantage. So that's a development that's ongoing, and I guess it will continue. The third development I notice is the development in the movement. And for this, I always look to IFOAM Organics International, our global umbrella association that describes 3 phases. First, you have the organic 1.0, which is the phase of the visionaries and the pioneers that developed the idea of an organic farming system. This is followed up by organic 2.0, which is the phase where there is the standardization of practices into rules, private and public, and a more interconnectedness of these standards to enable trade. And at this moment, we're working on organic 3.0, which focuses more on the impact of organic and how it can become a truly sustainable and even a more sustainable farming practice. And we see this development in the whole movement. So after reflecting on the past, on the area, on the farmers, on the regulation, and on the movement, I would like to share with you some ideas about the future on the European level or on the EU level. Because we, of course, come from a situation where we had the Green Deal, with a very ambitious plan to make Europe climate neutral and fair and inclusive. And part of it was the Farm to Fork strategy, with a clear ambition on organic farming and organic land area. 25% of the European land area, the EU land area, should be organic in 2030. But then, in the past years, we saw quite some crises. First of all, COVID, followed by, caused by maybe partly is the food crisis, an energy crisis. We got farmers' protests. Of course, the extension of the war with Ukraine, not only to the Crimea, but to also the other areas of the Ukraine, the war of Russia and Ukraine. And the result of this can be seen by the outcome of the European Parliament elections last year, where we see that the Green and the Liberal parties lost votes, and more votes were given to right-wing and populist parties. And as a consequence, the whole narrative has changed. The whole atmosphere has changed. And this changing winds or changing focus can also be seen in the very recent vision that was given by the European Union, the Vision on Food and Agriculture 2040. And there you see that Mr. Hansen, the Commissioner for Agriculture, focuses on simplification, focuses on competitiveness of the agriculture sector, on generational renewal, and food security and innovation. Climate and health are not so much issues anymore. Agriculture is more in focus, food policy is. And of course, you have to do something with it. For one thing, we have to change our narrative, and we are already changing our narrative. At IFOAM Organics Europe level, we're changing the way in which we promote organic. Because we think that the organic farming system also has a lot of benefits to offer that more right-wing, more conservative people can connect with. So what we're now saying is organic is not only a very sustainable farming system giving environmental benefits and health benefits, but it's also a competitive business model. It is a system that is able to revitalize rural areas and create employment. It is also an attractive sector for young farmers. And it has a lot of good practices where local economies are stimulated, for instance, by biodistricts. So going back to the beginning with the little Calimero, I think we are now in the phase where we are way past Calimero. We are a strong sector. We are able to provide solutions, also in the current political areas, and I think we should be proud of it. And we should communicate in the language and the words that are understandable about what benefits organic has to deliver. And I hope in this Congress you have a lot of opportunity to discuss with each other about how to promote organic, how to present organic, so that anyone, no matter what political taste, color, whatever, can relate to organic. And with this, I wish you a lot of inspiration, good talks, a good day, and I hope to see you live again somewhere soon.